Hello and welcome to the Atheist Dragons in the Eye of the Atheist Dragon. I'm your host, Sidra Kennedy, and today we talk about why black non-believers number so few. Now, I put into the search of YouTube and whatnot and Ecosia about black non-believers, just in general. Actually, I put in black atheists, and there's a lot of why are there so few? Why are there none? And there's been a lot of, it's nothing regurgitated, but people have different takes on it. And they all relatively say more or less the same thing, and that's something that is needed. Repetition is needed. So some of the reasons are because, well, there are so many white people that they greatly outnumber how many black people there are. So, and other people of color. They got that 67 to 69%, majority, and everyone else is roughly in that 10, 11, 12, 13%. And that, those little bitty tiny percentages don't necessarily add up to much. Because, it's 6 and 2 and 3 and barely even a noticeable percentage usually goes into a decimal of how small certain minority groups are. But when it comes to black people, black folk, there are reasons why there's so few. And while some of them do range in how many there are in general for the entire community of believers and non-believers, there's also the stigma that they are afraid of. And there are black non-believers that go over it, the fact of, and this to me, this is universal. It's not a black thing. It's universal to all races and whatnot. Once you say you are a non-believer or you're an atheist, whichever, it doesn't really matter. If you don't go with their religion, their God, then that means you are the enemy. There's something wrong with you because that's how they've been trained. Okay? They've been trained that way. But that's universal. You get thrown out your home. You'll be a pariah of the community. People will just not want to talk to you. You lose your friend. You lose the community, that's so helpful and so joyful. Yeah, that's universal. All of that is universal. In your home, you'll be treated differently. You'll be treated as that person with the disease, or better said, dis-ease. But what's the true reason why there's so few black non-believers? What's the one thing that no one has ever mentioned? And that thing is money. They don't have enough money to be a non-believer, at least openly. No one mentions that. It's not about if you're a man or a woman, if you're a boy or a girl, a millennial or not. You ain't got the money to be a non-believer. Now, there's some out there that say, look, I make a good pretty penny. I do well for myself. And I'm going to believe or not believe whatever I want to or not to. More power to you. They've got the money. And it's always the same. I make this much money. I'm on my own. I can do what I want to do. That's a good mindset to have. But when you are part of a community that doesn't help the community, and you are a teenager that don't believe, or you're someone that is in their 30s or whatnot, stuck in their parents' home because no money, no job, no money, or you got a job but they don't pay enough for you to take care of yourself in any home around you or anywhere else. So not only are you shunned and shamed for being at home with your parents, but you don't have enough money to even leave. So your parents look down on you. You don't have the money to get out and not believe. Because if they find out you don't believe, then they're going to kick you out. They're going to get rid of you. You don't have the money to run to, Scotty or Biff's home and just say, hey man, can I crash here? Yeah, you're being silent. But then as they warm up to you, you can be like, look, I don't really believe in all that, but I support that you do. So it's all good. And they can have that, oh, all right, yeah. But no, black people don't get that. Black people, what are they going to run to? And look, this takes place in movies, TV shows, and the stories you hear if, you know, when you would go out, for those that used to go out. You would hear from them. It's like, oh man, I couldn't stand this, and you know, I just had to go to my boy's house. I had to go to Scotty's house. I had to go to Biff's house. You know, I had to go to their home. I couldn't stay with my parents anymore. I had to move out. You know, we moved out together and we did this. Black people have done such things, but the fear, because now it's you best not come home not believing. Don't come back here. Matter of fact, since there's so much belief about your non-belief, if we find out, let's say you move out, what your parents gonna do? What your friends gonna do? The ones that are, you know, your family friends, they're gonna start to say, hey, this person's a non-believer or an atheist, so all this stuff that we believe of them is true, no matter how much they know you. No matter how deeply and intimately they know you, you're going to stay the same. You're evil. You just don't care about people. And then they conflate it with things that they don't even know the meanings of, like nihilism and all this other stuff. Black people don't have the money to be free. And they don't have the money to allow. And they don't, not just the money, they don't have the ability to be free. They want it. It'd be nice. But they're afraid of that backlash, that retaliation. Like I said, it's universal. But the common denominator, money. Can't leave home. Can't do anything. And once you do, there's always, because black people make so little money per capita or within their own, so little money, there's always that direct threat of having to lose that money and going back to where you escaped. And it could happen in the next day, the next week. That's a constant. So they have to, even when they move out, because they don't have the money to stay gone permanently, that fear of having to go back, yeah, they're gonna believe. They're scared. Inside, oh yeah, they don't believe per se. They don't subscribe to the religious cult, no matter which religious cult it is. They don't, but they have to stay in the closet. So much so that it gets to the point where, yeah, they want to be free. And even if they got free, they would have to wonder, well, you know, is it true? Is it not true? Just if they were able to be free, they wonder, well, I think I believe. I don't know. And the best common ground they can find is, well, you know what? It to each their own. It'll be what it is. You believe, you don't believe. Just let people do what they want to do. And they'll stay on that fence because they'll never keep questioning, never keep challenging. You know, that's usual. Not saying for everyone. That's just usual for black people. So my consensus of it is, if black people helped black people do better, be better, then they have the money to not believe. It become more secular. The black voice would actually be heard within the black people. Because black people are good for shutting each other out. Because black people known defeat so long, winning hadn't crossed their mind. Just hasn't. Well, might as well just do it. I mean, they're gonna win anyway, right? Well, what you gonna do? You just you. Well, what you gonna do about this or that? You just make that little bit of money, or you work there. You don't have a real job. So yeah, black people be rooted in some defeat. Straight up defeat. So we gotta help ourselves, actually help ourselves, if we want to be better overall. You can't pray it away. You can't sit there and say, well, things will get better. We just pray. We just pray. On average, 250 black people die every half year. And every single one of their family and their friends claim to pray for them. You can't pray those bullets away. You can't pray money into their hands. You can't pray a job for them. Oh, you can't pray a real job for them. Whatever that is. Because a fake job ain't paying money. So we got to get our linguistics correct. We've got to get our mind right. You know, you want to see more black non-believers? You want to see a better black community? Honestly, I got to say whatever and wherever that is. Because you can go into a place that's all black people and they ain't going to be working together. They ain't going to be lifting each other up. They're not going to be doing any bartering or trading amongst themselves. They're not going to be trying to start businesses and helping each other up. So whatever the black community is, wherever it is, someone holler at me about that. Where is it? What is it? How is it? Give me your thoughts and opinions. If you got a video on it, you let me know. You let me know. Because believing and non-believing is wrapped all around some money. It really is. And a lot of black believers can't wait to give what little money they got to a black church that's not doing anything for them or anyone. But you want your blessings and you want to feel safe. And there's no better way to get into God's good graces unless you give this being that has and knows everything your $5, $10, and $20. And some give more. And then pray that they can pay the bills. This has been Cedric Kennedy in the Eye of the Atheist Dragon. Thank you for listening.